Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another video from TW Sons Mazda. Okay, taken in part exchange only about half an hour ago. This Mazda CX-5 2-litre petrol Sport Nav Plus in deep crystal blue with black leather seats. This is manual transmission and it's covered little over 10,000 miles. Now, as I walk around the car, I'd just like to give a little bit of background, a bit of history on the vehicle. We didn't supply this car from new. This was supplied by Invicta Motors in Maidstone. However, we have actually sold the customer's mother cars in the past. So she was recommended over to us, and she's, in case you're wondering or curious, she's downsized into a Mazda CX-30. Like a lot of people in the last year, circumstances have changed. Their driving needs have changed, and you know, people are changing vehicles accordingly. So they've had this, she had this vehicle from new. It was serviced in April at about 6,500 miles. Okay, but we will put the car through our workshop just to make sure that everything's tickety-boo. Put it up on the ramp and do our 101 point check on the vehicle. Now, hopefully, from the photographs I've taken quite a few photographs. Please have a study, zoom in. You can see the car's in really lovely condition. We've not valeted the car. It is as it is. I just wanted to get the car on the adverts as quickly as possible, really. But it's very, very respectable. I think it's always nice to see the car in its raw state, not too raw, of course, because then you get an idea of how the previous owner has looked after the vehicle. Now let's start with round the back here. Now you've got this power tailgate, okay, and there's the boot. Now, do excuse me, there is a little bit of, don't ask me how, I will ask her, but she's managed to put a few little chalk marks here and there. I don't know why. When I see customer, I shall be asking her, but there's a little bit of chalk marks in the boot, so please ignore that. But it's all in really good condition. Apart from that, just needs a good clean. You've got the place there for a spare wheel. If you require a spare wheel, there is a space for it, but being the Sport Nav, that's also where the BOSE stereo lives. Now, you've got these levers here that allow you to put the seats flat. Now, talking about chalk marks, probably carried something in the boot, which I would do, some sort of DIY, and that's probably where the marks come from. But as I say, it's all very superficial, and my valet will get on this in the next sort of 24 hours. So the seats fold like a 40-40-20 split. The little hatch in the middle can fold down on its own too. In fact, let me show you that. There you go, and I'd call that the DIY hatch. I've never skied in my life, but I suppose ski hatch sounds posher. Okay, back seats, they really don't look like they've been used at all. Just want to point out the rear doors open almost to a 90-degree angle for easy access. I suppose my mum and dad in their 70s would really appreciate the rear access of this car, and also with my 2-year-old son in a child seat, I'm quite a broad chappy, and I could be able to, I have in fact, you know, taken him in and out of child seats at ease. So this car is extremely family friendly. Also has the ISOFIX anchorages for those child seats. Sorry, I forgot to point out, you've got a centre armrest here where your cup holders live, but also the all-important USBs. Now, the rear USBs on this car are for charging, so phones, your laptops, tablets, etc. And then we've got 2 at the front, which are for charging and for reading data. Okay, so yeah, really lovely in the rear there. I say the back needs a little 5-minute valet. You've got the auto tail lift, back bumper's unmarked. In fact, the body on the car is unmarked. It's very, very nice indeed. Let me show you around the other side. Got a little, I don't know what that is there. but just a tiny little mark there on the back seat, but that will come out. But yeah, all nice. It's really got that sort of new feel, you know, where the leather's still quite matte and not shiny. I say with 10,000 miles, kind of what you'd expect. Now you've got privacy glass in the rear, which is brilliant. Brilliant for pets, children, or people in general. Good for privacy and also good for, you know, the UV, especially for young children. Now, you've got easy access as well at the front, all right? You've got electric seats at the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8-way with lumbar on the drivers and memory settings. 2 memory settings. You've got electric windows, wing mirrors, BOSE stereo, I've mentioned that already. Now this is the Plus model, okay? So the Plus model, don't mistake this to the previous models to this. The Plus model, as standard, will have radar cruise control. So this will be like a solid badge because that's where the radar lives. The Plus model has a few other safety devices which I'll point out in a moment, okay, in more detail. Right, so let's hop in the car. So I would say this is, in terms of value for money, etc., probably the best sort of era of CX-5. Right, so you've got, and I'll explain why in a moment. So you've got 2 keys here, all right? Now you can program these keys to your memory seats. So if you and the other driver, you know, sit in different positions, which I'd imagine you do, when you open the car, depending on who's got the key, when you open the car, the seat will adjust to the seat setting of that key. So a pretty neat thing, because whenever I get my seat comfortable, I hate it when people upset the position. I can never get it quite right. So foot on the brake, clutch, sorry, press the button, car fires into life. All right, so we'll start off with the mileage, because that is impressive. 10,092 miles, all right. You notice it's got a heads-up display, okay. So your speed limit, speed, basic sat nav functions, and a few other bits and pieces, you know, driver attention alert, etc., will all pop up there. Excellent thing, you can adjust that, and that will adjust with your seat setting, your memory setting, because obviously we all sit in different positions, but you can adjust that there. So much better than the sort of Perspex flap that the earlier Mazdas have. I think that's a really nice touch, and standard on the Sport and onwards. Right, so you've got automatic wipers, automatic lights. Now you've got the radar cruise control, so the active cruise control. So the earlier cars didn't have this. Now you're going to ask me when it changed over. About 2018, late 2018, I think, went over to radar cruise control. So it will track the car in front, all right? If the car in front slows down, it will slow down. So more useful for the UK roads, I would say. Very, very good, actually. Very good. Quite novel, actually, when you first use it. Got automatic lights, wipers. They're LED. They're absolutely fantastic. I'll go into some light settings in a minute. You've got your volume controls, answer, decliner, call there. Steering column up, down, in and out. Okay. Climate control. Now, being the Plus model, you got this newer fascia. I think you had the heated seats buttons here and here on the earlier cars. Now you've got the heated steering wheel, so that's an excellent feature, one of my favourite, and 3-stage heated seats. You've got a 12-volt socket there, USB sockets there. Now if you notice on one of those USBs you've got like a little symbol of a phone. Now that's because, now I'm really testing my product knowledge. I'm trying to remember, but some of these models came with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and some without, and this car has it. So spec wise, really, really good. I think sometimes you've got Plus models without it. I'm not entirely sure, but I can't remember that far back, but this has it, which is great, because it means you can mirror your Apple phone or your Android phone onto this screen here, and then take advantage of the apps excuse me, like Google Maps, Waze, Spotify, WhatsApp, etc. There's limits to it, because obviously it's been adapted for driving, you know, and I don't want it to be too much of a distraction. But it is excellent. I've used it and I think it's fantastic, and it's certainly something that I think really builds value in the car. So let's have it run through this with you. Now, this is touchscreen when the car is stationary, so I would suggest just getting used to using this here. I call it the human interface, but I think the official name is the multimedia commander, which lives next door to the electric handbrake. Oh, by the way, the auto hold handbrake, I've discovered the other day, only works when the driver has his seatbelt on and when the passenger has his seatbelt on. So that's a nice touch. And that will do auto hold. Right, here we go. So applications, fuel economy monitor, vehicle status monitor. That's boring things like when the car needs a service and stuff. We send out reminders that you can schedule it on here, tyre rotation, oil change, etc. But Mazda do send out a reminder through their DSR, Digital Service Record System, reminding you of services. Warning guidance would be things like low on fuel or things like that. Fuel economy monitor. Now, this car has an intelligent engine stop-start system. Currently it's saying not ready, so the car has to be in sort of the optimum running state, so i.e. not too hot, not too cold, fully charged battery. You've not got too much load on the engine, aircon's not going, and you know, you've got all the lights on, etc. And then the car will, when it goes into the ready status, when you're in traffic, this has been a manual car, you take the car out of gear, if you foot on the brake when you're in traffic, the engine will switch off, which is good for the environment. We all like to be good for the environment. It will save fuel, and we love that, because it should, and it will save you money. Okay, so that's what that does. It won't happen all the time, because it will only switch the car off if it's going to save more energy than keeping that car running. So they're not going. It's not going to turn the engine off if, you know, the engine's not fully warmed up, or it's too hot, or the battery's not fully charged. So I hope that explains that system there. Now for the more interesting stuff, entertainment. You've got DAB radio. Oh, look at that. That's my favourite channel. Now, you've also got FM, AM, the traditional sources. AHA Stitcher are like an app-based channel, runs through your data. And then you've got your USBs as well, 2 USBs there. Now, DAB is something that I believe is here to stay. I know it's been around for a while. There was always questions of, is it going to be the thing, or will there be, like, I don't know, internet radio, etc. But I think it's here to stay, because I know a lot of FM channels are turning off and going digital only. There's so much on here, all different genres, and also music from all around the world. So DAB does me. I always find something interesting to listen to. Okay, so that's your music there, and obviously when you've got your phone connected up, you can stream any music. I often listen to YouTube documentaries driving to work or home from work. Once your phone's paired up via the Bluetooth, you'll get your call lists, recent calls, dial calls, missed calls, contact diary. It'll also read your text messages to you, which is fantastic. That's if you've got an Android phone. But obviously, if you use the CarPlay system, you can do it both with Android and Apple. It's got a very good inbuilt navigation system, Mazda MZD Connect, I believe it's called. Well, this whole system is called that. You put your postcode in and off you go. When you are hurtling along and you need to find a petrol station, which is normally the scenario I find myself in, because I do a lot of collecting cars and bits and pieces between sites, you can search petrol stations, the direction they're in, distance, etc. Now, you can set up a Wi-Fi hotspot from your phone so that your car connects to the internet. You'll also get fuel prices if you do that, and you'll get live traffic updates, and it uses only a minuscule amount of data. But there's lots of interesting things on there. In fact, you could change, for example, I don't know, if you're bored and you want to find something to do on a nice Sunday afternoon, for example. it'll give you all these bits and pieces, things that you probably didn't know were in your area. So yeah, excellent, excellent sat nav. I've travelled across Europe in it, and it's done me a good service. Okay, so now we've done that. Settings, this is interesting. So height adjustment AD display, that's that there. Okay. Then you can change active, you could change like brightness, etc. You can turn this display off and show clock. This is really interesting stuff. So you've got distance recognition support system. Okay. So that's one of the safety devices. Okay, so if you get too close to an object in front, it will tell you brake. Okay, you can adjust the sensitivity, which is good, because look here, warning distance near, far or medium. All right, so you know, however it suits you and your driving style. Okay, you got smart city brake support. Okay, warning distance, again, you can change that. So what that is, basically you've got a camera at the front, camera at the rear. If you got too close to an object, you're doing under 20 miles an hour. So scenario, you're in traffic, you've looked out the window because you're really bored and it's stop, start, stop, start. It's a hot day, you're dozing off. If you roll and you get too close to the car in front, boom, it will put the brakes on. Same in the rear. Okay, it will put the brakes on, and that's great because insurance companies recognise that most accidents happen in that scenario at very low speed. So they recognise that, and it should lower your insurance premium. Okay, blind spot monitoring. There are lights in the, let me show you actually. Hopefully you can see this. These little shadows here in the wing mirror. They're two lights shaped as cars. And it will warn you if someone's overtaking you or undertaking you. Yeah. Now this is something that was always a part of a safety pack. That was like quite an expensive option, right? Good value for money, but it was, you know, like an £800 option, and that could save you, you know, an accident. So another great safety feature. Lane keep assist. So you're going down the motorway, the cameras of the car will see the lanes. If you are sort of veering out of the lanes, like the steering wheel's feeding through your hand, you know, you're not paying as much attention as you should, the car will correct you. Okay, I know it sounds a bit scary, but it will correct you. If you take your hands off the steering wheel, I'm not saying to do this, it will correct you twice and then tell you, it will come up here, hold steering wheel. Okay, you've got traffic sign recognition system, parking sensors. You got front and rear, and you've got a camera at the rear as well as yeah, so you got, yeah, sorry, I say as well as, so you've got that at the rear. Okay, and you can change your brightness and bits and pieces of that as well. Okay, sound system, BOSE Sound System, fantastic. Okay, BOSE center point, put some opera music on, put that on, turn it up, it sounds like you're in an opera house. I have been in an opera house once in my life. The phone is the time is GPS synced, so you don't have to relearn to on how to actually change the clock. Always struggle with that. Rain sensing wipers. You've got door locking function settings. So for example, walk away lock, I'm going to activate that. Okay, keyless lock volume, I'm going to turn that on high. So that means when I walk away from the car with the keys on my person, the car will lock itself, wing mirrors will fold in, and it will bleep loudly. I've just set it on high to let me know I've locked the car. So that's a nice setting. You don't have to remember to lock the car again. Then you've got other convenience features like lighting, adaptive front lighting, so the lights will turn as you turn down country lanes. I mean, it's like driving in the day at night. It's fantastic. In fact, I see more with these lights in the night than I do driving in the day. I know that kind of doesn't make any sense, but I can see more. You've got change the interior light. You can change the interior light timings. Okay, high beam control, so you can put the high beam on full, and when someone comes the other way, it will dip the lights, so you still got really good vision, but you're not going to blind oncoming traffic. Oh, that's what I was looking for there. So you've got leaving home light, so when you open the car, okay, when you open the car, yeah, the lights stay on till you get in the car. All right, and coming home light, look, it's been set here, so when you lock the car, the lights stay on for 30 seconds. You can adjust that to get you enough time to, you know, get in the front door, so up to 2 minutes there. Okay, so some lovely features we probably take for granted. And devices, Bluetooth, you know, Wi-Fi, Android Auto, CarPlay system. You can change the language, measures, etc. So a really well-spec car. Connectivity is amazing. It's almost new, and if you're looking at CX-5s, you probably have noticed there's a bit of a shortage of used cars at the moment. There really is. So we really are grateful that we've taken this in. And really excited about offering it to hopefully a new customer or an existing customer. So car will be fully valeted. Don't worry about those funny chalk marks in the back. I shall ask the customer how they got there, but that will all be done. Car will be fully valeted, and it will be as new, really. If there's any more specific videos or photographs you would like me to send you, don't hesitate to ask. And part exchange is incredibly extremely welcome. Extremely was the word I was looking for. Extremely welcome. And you know, do your research. I know there's a lot of online valuers. We will pay very good money for your car, and we won't be one of those ones that say, oh, actually now you're here and this, that and the other, and, you know, knock you down on price. As long as the car's described correctly, we do stand on and make it a very pleasant experience. We've got finance facilities to suit all, and we have the facility to extend the warranty. This car will have kind of, when was it registered? I think this car was registered in February 2020, I think. So this car will have sort of 18 months warranty left on it anyhow. But obviously, please inquire and I'll give you the exact dates. Got the original locking nuts handbook in the car here. The other thing I'd like to just say is, please do inquire at any time of day. We do appreciate that a lot of people are looking at cars out of normal business hours, and we shall try to respond in those time periods. So thanks for watching the video. I think this has been my longest one ever, 22 minutes. I hope you've not fallen asleep, and we look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.